So I think we're coming up on 2 o'clock now. And what I'm going to do is start by introducing myself because I'm a new face for you guys. I know you're used to seeing Joan, and we all love to see Joan. She is a wonderful person whom I have learned a lot from, and I know a lot of others can speak to that as well. I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Daisha Cochran, and I am an animal communicator friend as well. I have taken workshops with Joan, and I do a number of other projects with her. I am a member of the CWALU family and proud to be a part of all of this beautiful healing work that Joan has initiated all over the planet. And I'm here today to interview 3 of a group of 4 students that are currently graduating and have graduated that have continued to work together. And they are out doing works, special cases as a group outside of their own businesses that they have established as a result of their trainings and the things that they've learned from CWALU and otherwise. So it is an honor for me today to sit with you and to introduce you to some of these wonderful ladies whom you can have access to by going to their websites, things to ask them questions if you like. And I'm going to start first by doing a little introduction with each one of them. So right now, hello, Selena from Maine, welcome. Hey, and you know, if I ask a question that really resonates with you, guys, hit that like button so I can see the stream and know that you're really interested in what we're talking about. And if you have questions, make sure you put them in the comments section and we'll try and get to them and ask the ladies while we have them on the live. And if we don't, we'll have somebody get back to you with the answers if we can answer them live. Okay, so it's great to have you all here. Make sure you share and let all your friends know what we're into right now. This is going to be a great conversation, and I'm so excited to bring you these beautiful souls that are working on healing the animals on the planet. So first, I would like to bring on Mary Antoinette. Let me get a little invite going here and bring her on. Here we go. Mary.
Hello.
Okay, so we are on and we're happening, and I wanted you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the group.
So I'm Mary Albanese. My handle on Facebook is Mary Antoinette if you need to find me there. And I joined CWALU a few years ago. I graduated just a couple of months ago. Hi, Eleanor. It's nice to hear from you too. This has been the most incredible journey for me. I was in education for 31 years. I taught high school. Hey, Joan, in the inner city. And I always thought I wanted to do something fun with animals after I retired. But I thought, hi, Sian, I thought I'd do something more conventional, admittedly. And this was something that just opened up. I still don't know where it's going to lead, but I'm on this ride.
Yeah, awesome. So how long have you been studying with Joan and CWALU?
I first met Joan in 2017. Well, actually, that's not correct. I met her online before that, probably late 2015, early 2016, and we corresponded. And she said to me, "Do you ever get out to the West Coast?" And I said, "Nah, that's not going to happen." And all of a sudden, Joan came east and did a weekend workshop, and I got to meet her in person, and then I was on board from then on.
Yeah, that's how I met her too. She came to Florida here and did some workshops, and we went to several of them, and they were awesome. And of course, as you know, Karen, who's on with us today, is also graduating from the big program, and we're going to talk to her momentarily. All right, great. So you want to mention your business real quick before we move on?
Sure. I'm based in Connecticut, but of course, like everybody else, I work remotely. And the name of my business is Zenzu Animal Communication and EnergyHealing.com, or actually .life right now.
Excellent.
So Zenzu.life.
And we can put Zenzu.life. And also that's connected to a Facebook page. So if you want to check her out
and
on
Instagram
there
as well.
and Instagram. Awesome. So thanks, Mary. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the other girls as well, and
Sure.
then we'll get started with the questions that we have for you guys today, okay? Thank you. All right, so next we're going to bring on Carrie. And let me just do a little invite here. All right, Carrie. So it's your turn for the intro, sis. So you want to go ahead and tell everybody your name and your business and how you came into be with Joan and CWALU.
Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Betts. My business name is Stellar Connection. I'm based out of Maine. I met Joan back in 2017. She came to Maine for a very small workshop. There's probably 30 of us in there. And when I left there, I realized I need to get back to the healing arts. And I've always had a connection with animals. I used to do a lot of energy work and was a massage therapist for humans for a while. And I kind of got off that path. And Joan has brought me back to where it is I'm supposed to be in this life. And the program has changed my life completely in so many ways.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for you to share your story and some of your experiences here as we go through the questions that we have prepared. I know that we did some pretty cool stuff a couple weekends ago, and you had quite an experience with a larger animal there. So let's not spoil it right now. We're going to keep that to ourselves until we get to that section. But I'm going to go ahead and introduce Karen, if that's okay, and we'll be right back with you to get the questions started, okay?
You got it.
All right. So last but not least, we have Karen Thomas. And some of you may know, and some of you may not know, but Karen Thomas is my life partner as well. So, Karen, why don't you go ahead and tell them who you are, what you do, and
Okay.
a little bit about CWALU.
Can you hear me okay?
Got it. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds great.
All right. Well, again, my name is Karen Thomas, and my business is Positive Touch, and that's PAWS, Positive Touch. I am based in South Florida and, of course, work remotely. It's funny how I met Joan. I actually was given her book as a gift about 5 or 6 years ago. I was working with a trainer, a dog trainer who trained emotional support dogs and service dogs, and she happened to be based in Seattle. And she said to me, if you don't know Joan, you have to meet Joan. Here's her book. I read her book. I resonated with every single word.
Yeah.
And that was about 2013 or 2014. And at that time, shortly after that, we had adopted several dogs and we were having some issues. So I decided to set up a private reading with
Oh, there we go.
existed. Okay, it changed the dynamics of how. Yeah, we okay?
It's good. It froze up for a second, but you're back on.
Okay. So after the private reading in 2014, Joan decided to come to South Florida and do a workshop about a year later. And we both took it, and we just started applying it. I started applying it in my shelter work, and it was life-changing. And a couple years later, I got involved into the university, and again, it was a life changer, just like everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't mind, what is your website, and where can people find you?
So my website is positivetouch.org. That's PAWSITIVE, touch.org. And I am also on Facebook.
Awesome. Okay, so as you know, we have a few questions for everybody today. And since I have you on here, I'm just going to go ahead and start with you for the first question. Can you share what inspired you to become an animal communicator?
Yeah, I have always connected with animals. From early childhood, I remember going to them for comfort and solace. I had been through a lot of trauma as a young child. And by the age of 7, I was in rescues, volunteering, and just kind of communing with them. Um, so, with that connection came a lot of healing for me along the way. And I wound up actually getting into human nursing for
Mm.
25 plus years. I've worked with humans, but always at the end of the day, coming home and taking care of the animals. And I think I was in my adulthood, I don't know how old I was, when I realized that other people didn't understand that animals had emotions and feelings and could grieve and could feel love and pain. And I was shocked. Like, I was truly shocked that people didn't understand that. So it was at that time that I not only turned my practice into healing animals, helping to heal animals, but also they needed a voice. And I decided this is the time I need to be their voice. So
Mm.
even though I did connect telepathically all my life, I didn't know how to verbalize it. So I chose to hone in on those skills and really dive into the animal communication so I can be the translator and let the world know how wonderful these beings are. They're truly wonderful beings, and they have so much to tell us and to teach us and to share with us.
Yeah, so you really started as a little girl.
Oh, yes.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask the other girl, so I'll be
Okay.
right back with you for the next question.
Okay.
All right. Mary, let's hear from you.
Hello.
Hey. So, Mary, would you share with us what inspired you to become an animal communicator?
Well, I was a city kid, so I never got to have as many animals as I would have liked. Like when I was in fourth grade, I couldn't understand how come my mother wouldn't let me get a horse and keep it in the garage and she could put her car in the yard. It made sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, but I had this love of animals like everybody else in the group. And, as I said, once I was getting near retirement, I wanted to do something else. I've always been getting things intuitively since I was in my late teens, but it
Mm-hmm.
never ever occurred to me that I could marry these two things. And meeting Joan changed all of that for me. I got into energy work shortly after I retired. I also consequently met Joan online right about the same time. And it's pretty obvious to me that the universe has a bigger plan for me because it's right now guiding me in an incredible direction. Um, and I am able to foster better relationships between caregivers and animals and
Yeah.
people and pets. So this is to me like miraculous.
That's wonderful. It feels good to be able to live your passion.
It does.
You know, so many people have jobs and are doing daily tasks that really aren't heart based. They're just going through the motions, and it really does take a lot to jump into and believe in. Like you said, you didn't know that you could do this thing that felt so natural and beautiful to you as a career.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's so fulfilling. And I mean, to me, it's just inspirational just to see the effect that it can have on both people and animals.
Yeah, yeah, agreed. Okay, great. I'm going to, Marie Christine looks like she's popping on for a second. I'm going to go ahead and get with her for a second. So I'll be right back with you. Let me see here, Marie Christine, if we can get you to join in. I don't have an option. I've got Carrie. Let me see. See if we could add Carrie on here. right. Hey, friend. There we go. Excellent. So my question for you is, can you share what inspired you to become an animal communicator?
Um, as the other girls, when as a child, I've always been the person that goes out and I talk to the birds, whoever's out there. And growing up, it wasn't the best household, and I lived way out in the country. So a lot of my friends were in town. So my animals were my constant. They have always, always been a constant in my life. They have taught me many, many things. And I don't think I ever thought of being an animal communicator. It's just something that's always come naturally until I met Joan. And over the past year, even my own relationships with my animals have become even deeper than I never even thought imaginable. So now it's really nice to give back to the animals and help owners and their animals develop the same type of relationship.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Carrie. Being able to be the voice for the animals really is a gift to be able to offer both to the animals and to the humans. And this is really about healing, right? I mean, that's kind of what the teachings are all about, different ways to heal. So even though you're also communicating, through the communication, the point really is to heal the animals, help them heal ourselves so that we can be better cohabitants on the planet, and to heal the planet essentially, which is Joan's big goal. And I think we're all on board with that. I
For
do
sure.
hear that from a lot of other animal communicators that they were first drawn to the animals because of difficulties with the humans in their lives at a young age. In childhood, mostly, there was either, a neglect situation or physical violence or some reason that we as young people couldn't connect to other humans in a way where the animals taught us unconditional love. And so you're saying that you didn't realize you could be an animal communicator until you met Joan, really brings up the next question, which is, how did you get connected to Joan and Communication with All Life University?
In 2017, Joan had a small workshop here in Maine, at a little spiritual shop in Augusta. So I attended it, and when I left there, I felt like, okay, I really need to help animals. I've always loved them, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, out of a class of 30, the only dog that was there sat in front of my feet. So I took that as a sign as well. And I was also going through looking for something new in my life. I knew my daughter is getting older and was going to be turning 18 soon and going on her own, and mom needs a new chapter in her life.
Absolutely.
And a month later, Joan sent out an email and it spoke to me. So I connected with her, and the rest is history. I mean, it was very scary.
Yeah.
I almost didn't do it because of money and stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
glad I did. I'm really thankful for the program.
So since you mentioned it, the next question, I'll just give you two because you're leading right into how did you decide to take the leap? And, we all have these questions about, can I afford it? Or, am I worth this investment? Can I take this risk on myself? Should I believe that I could really do this for a living? So what was it that helped you push through the threshold and take the leap?
Um, so Joan was really great about all of my fears. And, you know, I was concerned about not being able to make it to California twice in 1 year, along with the payments, being a single mom. And she finally just said, why don't we start slowly? And so I started with the home study program. And during that time, I had lost one of my dogs. And my intention before I had lost Stella was to go to the intensive in April. And after losing her, I was like, oh, I can't leave everybody. And Joan's like, no, get out here because it'll be the best thing for everybody. And she was right. I took the leap of faith, even though it really wasn't in the budget. I just made it happen somehow. And to me, that is the universe saying, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And when I came back from the intensive, that's when I said, that's it. I want to be a part of the big program. Everyone I met out there was amazing. And I couldn't do any of this work without my tribe, without the support. That's one of the biggest parts of the program that I like the most, is that there's support wherever you look.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And we're going to go more into that as we move through the questions, because we're going to get pretty personal with you and the other girls about how you formed your bond, you know, throughout your experiences together, and then what you're doing with that now. So what I'd like to do is switch back over and ask the other girls what inspired them to take the leap, and then we'll come back and we'll start to really get into that. Okay? Thanks,
Okay.
Carrie. All right, so let's hear from Karen. Let me know when you're on there. There you are. All right, so for you right now, Karen, we were just talking about what helped you decide.
I'm sorry.
What helped you decide to take the leap and invest in your career as an animal communicator and communication with All Life University?
Yeah, and I think I'll have to answer that from the backside. It's an interesting timing thing. At the time when I learned about the big program, I could tell you 100 reasons why I shouldn't have joined in my mind. 4 months prior to learning about the big program, we had lost our entire home in Hurricane Irma. We lost all of our belongings. We lost both of our vehicles. Our town was turned upside down. So at the time of me learning about the big program, we were literally strapped. We are in, you know, temporary housing. It just felt so incredibly still in temporary housing. Everything just felt so incredibly, I didn't feel like I had any earth beneath my feet. And I learned about the big program and I thought, wow, that sounds like a dream, but who has, you know, certainly didn't have money to shell out at that time. And it was actually, I had a conversation with Joan. Joan just said, call me, and we chatted. And she really eased a lot of my fears. And then Daisha, you and I talked about it. I said, this is the last thing I need. Oh, and in addition to that, two of our 4 dogs, 2 of the senior dogs, one was dealing with breast cancer and the other one had just been diagnosed with a brain tumor. So now we have 2 sick dogs on top of everything. And I said, this is the last thing I need right now is school. And Daisha said, no, this is the first thing that you need right now. So she was right. She's usually right. I dove in, and I'm telling you, it was the best decision I ever made because of my community and connection. I got through the passing of both of our girls. We got through the cleanup of the hurricane. So It was actually the best investment ever
Yeah.
in the past several years.
Yeah, and
So
it
thank you.
continues to give because I can just speak to watching you grow because we're so close. I can say that even though in the beginning you were slow to believe in yourself and the fact that you could do this as a career,
Hmm.
as I've watched you go through the program, you have come to speak in public. You were somebody who didn't even want to be really around people. You're just give me the animals and I will work with them. And yes, there might be a person attached, but I'm just not willing to deal with that. And now you can have very good conversations with people, explaining to them how to be better people for their animals. And, you've also become a business person, which you weren't an entrepreneur before. I mean, you had a beautiful career as a nurse for a very long time, a registered nurse. Um, and I've watched you become an entrepreneur as well through this process, which has been amazing because you're so proud of it in a way that it's like watching a bird open its wings for the first time and take flight. It's beautiful, and so I'm so proud of you, and
Aw,
it's
thank you.
it's done a lot for you in that respect as well. So I also want to say thank you to Joan for putting together something that could help a person who has this gift do it for their life's work.
Thank
Um,
you. Yeah, thank you. And it is such a blessing to find once I got into the university, I felt like I finally landed. I was home. I was truly home. And I know that now I am definitely moving forward with my life's purpose. And to be surrounded by so many like-minded individuals is just the most wonderful feeling.
and you found your people.
Yeah, I found my
You
people.
found people you love to talk to, that you talk to every single
That's right.
day. And
That's
it's
right.
beautiful. All the girls on this line right now, and even some of you out there, have become great friends and
Yeah.
people that we love to be around, and we have these beautiful conversations with just like-minded individuals. So we're so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about
We
the
are.
tribe in a second.
Okay.
I want to ask you what I already know the answer, but I would like to ask you for everybody else's purpose. Um, which module of the big program resonated with you most and why?
Hmm. Definitely rescues and sanctuaries.
Yeah.
That has been my passion since I was a little girl. And I still love working with homeless animals every single day. And
Mm-hmm.
I do. And my goal is to let every rescue feel like a healing sanctuary, a place for them to heal, feel safe, and know that they are loved and that their light matters in this world, that they are important. They're important to every single one of us, and there's a reason they're here. And I just love to help them blossom. And just like you mentioned, I love to watch them sprout their little wings and heal and manifest their forever homes once they're healed. It's just such a beautiful process to me.
Yeah, and I love your physical process with them as well. Would you mind sharing kind of like how you go about that? Because the animals love it.
My
So
orientation.
yes.
Yeah, so I've started this little process with the animals when they come into the shelter, mostly dogs. Um, they come in for all different reasons, and a lot of them don't feel safe, and they're confused, and potentially neglected and abused, and whatever the situations were, they're having some. They're not there on their own accord, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to take them in, and the first thing I like to do, if it's possible, is I like to give them a nice warm bath. I
Mm-hmm.
give them a bath. I wash them. So I'm like literally and energetically kind of washing off the old debris, the old energy. While I'm giving the bath, I'm doing some massage. I'm incorporating energy work, getting into their energy centers and just kind of balancing and stabilizing everything and just infusing it with beautiful energy. And while I'm doing that, I'm talking to them and I'm kind of giving them the orientation. I tell them, you know, that you're here now and you're safe, and this is your place to heal. And we are your temporary caregivers right now, and we are going to treat you with the love and respect that you deserve. And you can feel safe with us, and it is okay, and we can move through this together. And now let's just heal. And it's so multifactorial with all of that after the bath. I mean, they feel clean, their confidence is increased, they feel so much better about themselves, they feel safe, they feel loved. And that's what anybody wants, really. That's
Grounded.
The bottom line, is to feel safe and to feel loved.
Yeah.
And once we can establish that, and they know that the hands that are going to feed them now aren't going to hurt them, they can relax into it. And once the nervous system comes down, they can start to heal. And whether that's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, they start the healing process. And once they can heal and reach that place of their optimum health, then they can manifest that perfect human that's going to resonate on that same vibrational frequency. That person who is going to treat them with the love and respect that they deserve. And that's what we help them envision and manifest. And it takes a village, you know, so we all, yeah, it takes a village. But I find that it's a process that really helps a lot of animals. I've had great success with this.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I know I literally watch it happen when you're doing this. So it's just so nice to be able to share with others so they can visualize how this healing work goes and how multidimensional it is. And, you know, like, just there's so much that we can offer through these gifts and the tools.
Right.
So thank you for that. I'm going to come back
welcome.
to you about your relationships with the girls in a second, but let me ask them about their favorite.
Okay.
All right. So let me see. Carrie, I'm coming for you. Hey, friend.
Hey.
So let's talk about the module that resonates most with you.
There's actually a couple different ones because I do love sanctuary work. As a child, you know, I rescued my first cat when I was 7. And I do love endangered species. So sanctuary work is amazing. This is my sister, Chloe. I'm having to be at my mom's house.
Hi, Chloe. Welcome.
The other module that resonates with me a lot is the death and dying. Being in the big program, I have lost 2 dogs within the past year. And when I was losing Stella, Joan's TED Talks was released. And it really helped a lot with taking care of Stella and reminiscing with her and making our connection even deeper than it was. And then a year had passed and my Bubba got ill, and I had gone through the death and dying at the intensive in October, which was one of the most amazing times in the class. We actually had a lot of fun. But it made me see how, you know, we got his diagnosis of lymphoma and we celebrated. We celebrated that we got the diagnosis to make him feel good. And we had a lot of parties. We danced.
Yeah.
all of you guys were amazing. I couldn't,
We love singing to Bubba.
We set up Zoom calls and we had a dance party for Bubba one night. He loved it.
Yeah,
and, you know, Karen and Daisha frequently FaceTimed and sang to him as well. And I let him know that it was okay to go to Rainbow Bridge as much as it killed me. But I knew that that was his new journey. And the oneness that I felt when he did leave his body was amazing. And it would be an honor to be able to help other people achieve this. Because often, too many times, we're too caught up in all the emotions. And I would have been myself if it wouldn't have been for you guys. I don't know how many days I had that I knew what I was hearing, but I was like, oh shit, you know? I clarified a lot.
About a whole lot, you know, just generally in our society, death and dying. And we all go through it because we have these animals in our lives that literally become our everyday, you know, they are our lives. Our everyday consists of their care and their needs, and then the special times that we share. And so when it's time to transition, our lives literally change in that moment to be different forever. And so learning how to process that in a way, it'll never be easy. You know, there's never a way to make it easy, but having the support and having the tools to have a better understanding and to find the peace for both you and your companion is invaluable in what I've seen and felt myself through the
And
programs.
I do also know program. Um, Bubba's passing was a lot more peaceful. And I believe that is because I was at a better place where I could cheer him on to like, yeah, you're going on a new journey, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
you're going to do this. And with Stella, I tried, but I wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, I understand. So death and dying, you would say, has most
Has this,
impacted you lately.
yes, it's definitely had the biggest impact in my life.
And leading to how we've like cultivated these relationships, because you mentioned, you know, how we all would have the Zoom calls, and we would sing to Bubba, and we would have dance parties for Bubba, which was awesome, by the way. I don't know if anybody else has done this, but we literally would have like 4 or 5 people on the Zooms, and in all our little bubbles, we would be dancing to the same song and singing to Bubba and connecting our heart spaces. And it was pretty magical and
It really was.
pretty awesome from 5 different states to be at the same party for Bubba. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about cultivating the relationships, and then I'll come over to Mary and we'll cover both questions with her.
We all met out at the intensive in April of last year. You know, we slowly got to know each other a little bit there. And after April, we kept in contact here and there. And then in October, things seemed to have, you know, they shifted a little bit. Our connection felt a little stronger, and we had more things that we found out we have in common with each other. I mean, Karen and I are like the same person when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then when we came home from the intensive in October, it was just, none of us have stopped being in touch with each other. And I don't even feel like you guys live in a different state.
I know,
most
right?
days.
I know.
You know, we're all that close.
It's kind of like the distant work, though, you know? Like
yeah.
the distant work kind of just instills in you that you're always everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
If I think of you guys, I feel like I'm there with you.
Yeah, we feel the same way. Yeah,
Um,
and so let me jump over to Mary before we move on, because then we're going to start talking about that trip that we took recently, and we're going to go to a whole nother place with that. So
okay.
I'll be right back with you in a second. Here I come, Mary. Hey, sis.
Got it.
All right. So
I'm proud when I do technology right.
you got it. You're doing so great. And look, it even looks like you got a little special lighting going on in there. It looks awesome. So I didn't get to ask you yet about the module that resonates most with you. So if you would mind, if you don't mind, just go ahead into that for us.
It was a little hard for me to pick a favorite, to be truthful. Two that stand out for me are probably the animal communication and the rescue and sanctuary work. The communication gave me a lot of insight into just that animals are very much like us in their thoughts and their feelings, and also in the importance of the need to be heard, because that's kind of the greater good. Because sometimes I look at the communication piece and realize how incredibly deep and valuable that connection is, and realize, yeah, it's an important part of what I do. The rescue and the sanctuary work, mostly the sanctuary work resonates with me, because I lived up on Cape Cod for a while and got involved with working with the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy, and got involved with great white sharks, and really became interested in species that are endangered, vulnerable, threatened, and that is very intriguing to me. So that is kind of a cool angle for me
Can you
to
share a
look
little
at.
bit about what you did with the sharks?
I was a very small cog in a very big wheel, but I
Aren't we
got to
all?
go out tagging with them. I was
Yes.
part of a 5-year population study.
Wow.
And so, but it just wrapped up actually. They had a theory that they were trying to prove. They thought there were maybe several hundred sharks that would migrate back to the Cape, and through using satellite tags, they've realized there are a lot more that migrate back up to the Cape than they ever realized. And currently they believe it's well over 1,000. So
That's
yeah, it's pretty
fascinating.
cool. I learned an awful lot from them.
Fascinating work. Okay, great. So the modules, I know it's really hard to pick one just because there's so much interesting content in all of these different modules. But
Yes.
we mentioned cultivating relationships because you and Marie Christine and Carrie and Karen have all kind of also gravitated towards working with each other outside of your studies and your school on certain projects. So could you share with us how you cultivated those relationships?
It's funny, Marie Christine and I met in Massachusetts when we first did Joan's weekend workshop. And
Mm-hmm.
so we stayed in contact from that time forward. And then, as Carrie mentioned, we all met in person for the first time in April. And it was kind of crazy because we met in person
At
for
the
the first
intensive.
time at the intensives. But,
Yeah.
yet I felt I knew these people from week after week of being in our little Brady Bunch squares on all
Right?
the calls. So I was familiar with them, yet I didn't know them, but I did know them.
Yeah.
And so it was so cool to be able to physically be with them. And then, after October, it really solidified. And I know that particularly these women are the women that I can call on when I need them, and I can and I do. If I have, something that I need, help with, or if I feel that, I'm distressed because an animal that I've been working with has passed on, and I need help dealing with the emotions, I have felt all of them hold me in their energy, because we've all taken our turn in that space of being vulnerable. So
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how cool it is and how wonderful it is to feel that energetic embrace. Even though we're all separated by miles, I know they're there for me, and I have felt it.
Yeah, you know what's interesting and something that just popped up for me is when you guys are doing the online calls and you're all doing the readings together, what just popped up is kind of like how Joan always talks about morphic resonance and,
Yeah.
like the swarm theory. So for all these weeks and weeks and weeks, you get together and at the same time you're tuning into the same being at the same time. And so collectively you are becoming one energetically, even though you're coming from your own perspectives and things like that. Before
Yep.
you actually physically meet, you have become one as a group, as a collective consciousness.
Yeah.
That's really intelligent on Joan's part.
Yes.
For
Very insightful.
for connecting all the lights
Oops, so
across.
sorry.
That's okay, for connecting all the lights across the planet in that way, because there's people all over the world that join these
Yeah.
classes. There's people from other countries constantly on these calls, and even speakers, they're from everywhere. So she's really pulling the best and brightest lights all together from everywhere. It's fantastic. So now that we've talked about how everybody cultivated their relationships, we're going to get into some pretty fun stuff, because I want to talk about where we went a couple of weekends ago as a group. It was a small group, and we can talk about more also why it was a small group, because I know there were some questions about that. But I would love to hear, Mary, about your favorite experiences from where we went. First, let's talk about EARS, the Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary located in Citra, Florida,
Yep.
run by this fantastic woman named Gail. I'm not going to go deep into her story, but I will say that she's lived on that property for 50 years. And she used to be there with her partner. Her partner has since passed. However, since I believe it was 1980, she had been an official big cat sanctuary, who also hosts some other beautiful animals. There are lions, there are tigers, quite a bit of tigers actually,
Yep.
bears, big ones at that. Um, who else was there? There were leopards
Yep.
and some monkeys even, and some dogs. So I just want to ask you, because we all went for a specific reason. You girls had intentions to go and connect with the animals, to help Gail, with any information that you gathered, and then also to do energy work on animals that happen to be living in captivity for the rest of their life, because Gail does not breed. She
Yep.
does not. She does not participate in any buying, selling. Once an animal comes to her sanctuary, it is taken care of for the rest of
Yep.
its life, and given everything it needs, with the number one ingredient being love and compassion. So please share with us your experience from EARS.
That was probably one of the most incredible experiences ever. When we came back from the intensives in October, we were all kind of like, okay, what next? What are we going to do next?
Yeah.
And thanks to you and the fact that you'd visited EARS before, you were the one that turned us on to the place, because we were all gung-ho to try a different kind of place,
Yeah.
having visited other sanctuaries through the program. And so this was a new challenge, a new level for us, and it gave us the opportunity to work with species that we hadn't worked with before, with the exception of the primates. So EARS was incredible because we got to see that we could actually work with endangered species that we hadn't worked with before, large animals, big cats, that were, in various, some difficulties, some of them, some not. And it was so incredible to share the experience with my friends, because we worked together. We decided how our approach would be, and we conferred with each other, when we talked about the different animals, how to best approach this one, that one, the other one. I mean, it was really a shared experience from start to finish.
Yeah.
So it's something I will never forget.
So when you girls went in, did you have a plan, like we'll communicate first and then we'll do some energy sessions based on what we feel from the animals? Can you speak a little bit to your strategy when going to a place like that?
Well, we always agree that communication comes first. We had agreed with Gail prior to our visit that they would sort of triage if they had any animals that they felt needed special attention, that we would make sure that in our time there we would get to those animals specifically. And so we did spend our early time there trying to target those particular animals, but we discussed how we would approach them, even like strategizing physically how we would approach them. Should we stay close, further away? Should we spread out? Should we stay close? Just how to best deliver the various modalities that we used insofar as energy work was concerned. But we always started with communication and went from there. And then we broke down into pairs, and we worked as individuals. So we used our tools differently, in
I
different
noticed
ways.
some people were tapping and some people were doing energy work. And it just seemed like you all were coming from your specialties, almost like everybody was coming from a different direction, like on the compass.
Right.
That's what we discussed. Yeah.
We absolutely did. And it was all based on what we received in communication. And then we kind of went with it and intuitively kind of decided, okay, I think this is best for me to do. And that was how we went with it.
I see.
And it seemed to work.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And I really feel fortunate to be able to have documented that. And we'll share some pictures and videos. But I see Marie Christine trying to tap in right now. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna try and jump over here and see if we can get her for a few minutes, because I know she's somewhere else. So just hold on a second for me, Mary. Let me see if we could do this here. Marie Christine, if you would send that invite again, I'll see if I can pull you on. Let me see here. Are you on there? Nope, I don't see a way to invite her.
Oh, poop.
I'm sorry, hun. We are trying to get you on here because you are a huge part of this group. There you are. Let's do it. Yes. Oh, here we go. Is it going to happen? Please let it happen. Marie Christine, I'm adding you. So if you...
Hey there.
Yay. Oh, what a gift. So
I'm in the theater.
Okay, so we won't keep you long, but if you could just introduce yourself and your business and tell us a little bit about how you came to be a part of CWALU and learn from Joan.
Okay, my name is Marie Christine Luchot. I'm in Montclair, New Jersey. My business is Enhance Animal Wellbeing. And I'm going to be brief. I took a class at De Leon with Joan, and I loved it. And then starting to take an online class. Then she worked on my cats, and she was going to Massachusetts, so I went there where I met Mary. And
To a
like
workshop.
Carrie, I was
You went
scared
to one of her workshops?
to the workshop, the weekend workshop, and I was blown away because I was able to communicate after the workshop, but not so well.
That's
So, like Carrie, I was scared about money, but Joan was very good and very patient. So I took one class, and I loved it, and I was hooked. And Mary was in the big program, so I jumped in. I said, "What the hell with the money?" And
Yeah.
and then the Tuesday calls, and it was just fabulous. I just loved it. And so did the first, went to California, roomed with Mary, and then Joan told us, there is this very nice woman, Karen, you should take her with you. And I said, oh, okay.
Yes.
And here we go. Met Karen, and then Carrie was there. And then we continued to be in touch. And as Carrie said, after October, we got closer and closer. And if I have a problem, I call one of those three, or we have those long threads on our special group by text. You go
Yep.
to work, and a half hour after, you have 45 messages to read.
That's right.
And yeah, and I mean, Joan's program is what she says plus 10 times more. Not only you learn about communicating, but you learn about yourself. You improve the relationship with your pets. You become a better human being, and it's just life changer. It's life changing. If it's for you, it's life changing. Don't worry about money. Just do it.
So what made you jump and go ahead and invest? What was the final straw? You were like, I'm doing it. That's it.
It it just resonated with me, and I just felt I just have to do it. This is in me, and Joan's support is just fabulous.
So
She's
you
there for
felt
you.
supported enough. Yeah. You felt like you had
Absolutely.
everything you needed. And no matter what, you were going to gain from being a
Right.
part of this tribe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to communicate with frogs when I was a kid.
That's right. You told
So
me about the frogs.
I just it's just the dream came true, and Joan teaching is profound. When we do
Yes.
those Tuesday phone calls, not only you practice, but her teaching are invaluable in so many levels.
Yes.
It's a game changer. It's a game changer. So,
Yes. And I want to ask you real quick before we lose you. We're on to ears right now. We're
right.
talking about that experience.
Yes.
Would you mind sharing about
Yes.
the group going to the Endangered Animal Rescue Sanctuary a couple weekends ago and what that was like for you?
It was just fabulous because it's just being with my tribe within the tribe, my super tribe. I think those three are my super tribe. They're my soulmates. We're very
Yeah.
different, but we love each other, and we're very generous to each other. So we work together, and we plan what we learned from Joan, from the work in the sanctuary with Joan. We had a plan, we talked, and then we went on. And then the second day we split, and you were supported. We supported each other and let everybody's style come through, and we respect each other. It
Yeah.
was profound because of the dynamic of the group,
Yeah.
and it was profound because what you hear from those animals is just heart. It's heartwarming, heart wrenching. It's why we do what we do, because we can help them. The
Yeah.
shifts in the animals were extraordinary, and it was just paradise. It was just like I don't do drugs, but probably what it feels like 10 times.
Yeah. It must be what it
It,
feels like, right? To
it,
be
what it feels like.
riding high
It's a
on life.
high. It's a
Yeah.
high.
Yeah. And
And you were the centering piece also.
oh, thank
And
you.
you're welcome. And we had so much fun, and we did such good work.
Yeah, thank you. And you know what? I just remembered too. I believe it was Mary when you guys were all giving feedback to Gail about what you got, especially from the Lions. Remember the story one of the lions was telling about, he was sending pictures about rolling in the grass and stuff like that, that no
Right.
one would have known about.
Right.
And there was a surprise on Gail's face, you know, because of the accuracy of the information that you guys were giving. And I think those moments never get old for me, you know,
Yeah.
the moments where the validation comes. Oh, I know you're in a place where
Yeah.
you probably aren't supposed to be talking a whole lot. So I'm going to let you go, Marie
Nobody
Christine.
cares.
Oh, they don't?
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. Thank you for having me. I love you
Yeah.
guys. Joan, you're the best. And
Oh.
this is more than any teacher has done for me in my entire life. And I'm
Oh.
old, so I can talk.
We love you so much, Marie Christine. I'm going to sign off here on you, but
Okay,
we'll talk
see
to
you.
you again soon. Enjoy the show,
Okay,
okay? All
thank
right,
you. I
bye, hon.
will. Bye bye.
That's great. So let me pull back up here. Yeah, I know, she's great. She cracks me up. So let's pull, here we go. Let's pull Carrie up here. And I know she's got a very special story she wants to share about ears. And then we'll hear from Karen as well. Hey, girl.
Hey.
So it's your turn to share about ears.
Um, where do I even begin, to be honest with
I have
you?
no idea. You can start
Um,
anywhere.
for one, thank you so much for getting it all set up for us, Dacia. You know, I'm
Oh, well,
thankful for that. Um, you guys did all the legwork. I was just kind of along, I feel like. But it was definitely a dream come true for me. All my life, I love tigers.
yes.
And as a teenager, I wanted to study them in their habitat. Obviously, that never happened
Yet.
yet.
Looks
Exactly. It looks like
looks
it's pretty good for my
looks pretty good.
future, because my whole intention is to try to get back down there to help one of the tigers with pretty bad anxiety. We're kind of on things. So if you all watch my Stellar Connection Facebook, maybe there'll be information soon about it and ways that you could possibly even help me get there.
That's right.
But one of the things that was the most profound was singing to a bear and watching her whole energy shift. Karen and I had went over to work with this bear, and she just felt a lot like she wanted to hide in the corner, and there was a lot of snarling, you know, and she we decided to do some tapping, and then the next thing I know, Karen's like, I think she wants you to sing to her. So we did, and we saw the whole shift. It
Yeah.
was amazing. It
I
was the
watched
most
it too.
beautiful thing.
Yeah, I watched it too. It was pretty incredible. That bear had come from a situation of abuse, and for 4 years had even wanted to charge when people got close to visiting their enclosure, and you guys were actually pretty darn close while you were connecting. And as you sang, I literally watched the bear move her back up against the fence where you guys were and lift her head up gently and lean in to your direction. It was incredible to watch. And to watch you and Karen sing to this bear, my heart was like, my heart was just melting. It was beautiful to feel the exchange happening between you guys. That was almost like I could literally visually see it happening. And and there's even some talk about Jill and Joan, right? Um, bringing some CBD. with you, through you, into that particular sanctuary. That's a possibility, yeah?
That is the possibility that I'm talking about, that I might need all your help with.
Yeah. So
It would,
stay tuned to your
please.
website and to your Facebook page about details that are coming up. And
It probably is going to take a lot of fundraising and everything, but I'm definitely
gonna do a
willing.
study.
I'm willing to go do this study. This is my life dream, to track a tiger, and I didn't realize it would be with CBD and in captivity, but who cares? It's a
and
dream
animal
come true.
communication. Yeah, it's like watching literally things that things that you didn't think could be real, but would be your ultimate best life. Literally coming into the physical, becoming reality. How beautiful is that?
It's crazy beautiful. It's I sometimes don't think it's real,
Yeah.
but it is, and I'm looking forward to going back there, because I am going back. There's no
Yeah.
doubt, and helping that tiger with, and I will be using a lot of EFT when I'm there. She
Yeah.
actually responded. She was responding very well with the tapping. She did get still for a little second, so that was good. And I know Mama Bear wants me back. She's definitely holding true colors in her head. The song keeps popping in my head randomly, and I
Yeah.
feel her there. And when I had left, I sang to her "You've Got a Friend" by James Taylor. So, and I made sure to tell her that if she just closed her eyes, I'd be there. So I think she's doing that. I really feel that.
You can feel her. That's so sweet.
I
That's
love
so
her.
sweet. Oh, and I love you. And
I love you.
this has been fantastic. I want to thank you for joining today and for allowing me to host this Facebook Live. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So, is there anything else you'd like to say before I close this up?
I don't think so. Just
No.
if you're thinking of joining this program,
Yeah.
if you're even thinking about it, just do it. You will find the way to get the money. If I can do it, anybody can.
That's right.
I'm serious. I've come so far in a year. I mean, I felt like I wasn't even living anymore. And now I am. So just do it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to close this up here and say goodbye to everybody. Let me see here. Mary. I just wanted to say thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to leave us with today?
No, if I can help anybody who has questions, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me at zenzu.life, but don't hesitate. I mean, it is just, it's transformative, and you can't afford not to make the investment, because it's a commitment to yourself. It's believing in you and believing in making a difference, and you so can. So absolutely, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm willing to work with anybody in any way possible.
Thanks, Mary.
It was great to have everybody today.
It was.
Thank you.
All right, sis. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
All right, let's say, oh, I don't see, there she is. All right. Well, I was trying to pull you up, Karen, but I don't see the ability to invite for some reason, but I'm just going to close it up, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us today and listening to Carrie, Mary, Marie Christine even got to pop on, and Karen Thomas, students who are graduating now and have graduated from the big program, CWALU, and they're living very successful, happy lives, living their dreams quite literally. And your friends are on the other side. Don't hesitate. Join us. We can't wait to have you in the tribe. Lots of love, everybody. This is Daisha. I'm signing off. And if you have questions, make sure you reach out to Joan or put your questions in the comments here and we'll get back to you. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.